This week's study covers social class, religion, appearance and weight, language and communication, and military service. The first article was from the Business Times entitled, Hidden Rules of Class Workplace. From childhood, we are taught the hidden rules necessary for survival in our economic social classes. They are unspoken cues, behaviors like language and humor that indicate to others where we belong. Those behaviors show up in the workplace. To be successful, business owners and leaders could and should do better to support and resource employees from all economic classes need to thrive. Unit 16 covered diversity of religion. Religion is a system of beliefs, values and practices concerning what a person holds sacred or considers to be spiritually significant. Sociologists study how religious beliefs affect our behavior. Religion can also serve as a filter for examining other issues in society and other components of culture. The first crash course in sociology video this week covered the impacts of social class. Class determines so many aspects of our lives: education, beliefs, values, religion, occupation, income, how you live and how you die. The most salient issue in the video related to education. Access to quality education varies depending on the social class that you're born into. There are many factors that contribute to class differences to education, one being income segregation. Children raised in working class or low-income homes are more likely to attend public state schools or two-year community colleges compared to those raised in high-income. Those children tend to attend elite colleges where a host of privileges that get passed on from one generation to another. To many from lower-income backgrounds, education can seem more like a great barrier rather than a great equalizer. The next crash course in sociology video covered social class and poverty in the United States. There are 5 social classes in the US: upper, upper middle, average middle, working and lower. It also covered poverty in the US. Social class is the group that's fairly similar in terms of income, education, power and prestige in society. The federal poverty level is the threshold used to determine who is eligible for public assistance. As of 2017, the poverty level for a family of 4 was $24,600. 13% of households in America live below that level. Some startling statistics: the working poor are the 12% of working-aged Americans who work full-time and live in poverty, as well as the 29% of working Americans who work part-time. More than half of the families living in poverty in America are headed by single mothers. There is a feminization of poverty, due to the increased number of women raising children on their own as well as the low-wage jobs they often work. 2/3 RDS of Americans who are poor in America are white. Blacks are more likely to be poor than whites. 24.1% of blacks, who make up 13% of the US population, were living in poverty in 2014. In contrast, 11.6% of white Americans, who make up about 77% of the total US population, live in population. There are many theories on the disproportionate statistics. Daniel Patrick Moynihan blamed the high rates of poverty on cultural factors in the black community, like high rates of births outside of marriage. William Julius Wilson, on the other hand, documented that blacks are much more likely to face structural and institutional barriers that keep them from achieving economic success. The video, Everyday Example, Religion in the Workplace, depicted a worker being bullied because of his Christian beliefs. The non-believer mocked his beliefs and said it was a joke. The manager had discussions with both and explained that believers and non-believers have the right to believe as they would in the workplace. They don't, however, have the right to try to influence others to believe or not believe as they do, to either gain or lose work opportunities. Appearance and weight issues in the workforce were addressed in the article from CNN Business entitled, One Type of Diversity We Don't Talk About at Work: Body Size. It explored stereotypes, biases and discrimination that obese people, especially women, experience in the workplace. There are perceptions that they are lazy, unmotivated, unintelligent, and incapable of being good leaders. The issue of weight being an aspect of diversity that is not covered by anti-discrimination laws. The next article addressing weight was entitled, Demoted or Dismissed Because of Your Weight? The Reality of the Size Ceiling. It furthered the discussion of weight discrimination with stories of actual people who were bullied, body-shamed and discriminated against in the workplace. The next reading was, Managing Language Barriers in the Workplace, The Roles of Job Demands and the Resources on Turnover Intentions, by Havan M. Madeira. More and more immigrants are employed in the hospitality workforce. They often have very limited English-speaking skills. Communication barriers between employers and employees are a huge concern. The study reported that eliminating communications issues in some cases have resulted in better understanding of what is required of the employee, fewer job conflicts and less turnover. The brief video, Intercultural Team Experiencing a Culture Clash in the Workplace, was a dramatization of a real-life experience. It showed an example of a cross-cultural misunderstanding. It demonstrated that it is to everyone's benefit in the workplace to understand the cultural differences to avoid misunderstandings and conflict. The final article was everycsrreport.com that addressed diversity in the military. Statistics demonstrate that diversity of every aspect in the United Armed Forces fall far behind the levels in the federal civilian workforce. While seen as male-dominated arena, the armed service could benefit from the talents and perspectives from a diversity of gender, racial minorities and sexual orientations. It would benefit not only the military member but the entire country if efforts were taken to increase the diversity and representation in the workforce to more closely parallel civilian service. There are far more aspects of diversity than I had ever imagined. As I was reading this week, I couldn't help recall negative experiences that I experienced 20 years ago when my weight was out of control. While I have always been a conscientious, well-dressed employee, I experienced much of what was described in both of the articles. I knew that people judged me. I don't know if I was ever discriminated against because of my weight. I crossed a major career level when I was at my highest weight. I do have a great deal of compassion for those who have weight struggles. The crash course video that covered social class and poverty initially had me pondering which of the 5 social classes that I neatly fit in. As the video went on, it was shocking to know what the federal poverty level is and how many live below it. The numbers who live in absolute poverty in this country is shameful. There is no way that I can have this information and not explore it more and try to make a difference somehow. This week my eyes were opened to issues and situations that I was not aware. With expanding knowledge and understanding, I am becoming an even better leader in my workplace and citizen of the world.